throughout a lot of series, there's always that paragon character. You know what I mean? There's always that, like, big super OP guy seen as, the top of everyone else. It's just one of those things you expect just because, there's always going to be somebody at the top. But I think Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely one of the ones that's really emphasized that I think the best, and I don't mean that in a slide to other series. I think it's just when it comes down to it, the author really, really wants to hammer the spot of how much the presence of Satoru just really did, and it just been doing an absolutely amazing job with it. I mean, really, Akutami has been just hitting it out of the park, and doing it in a way that it doesn't feel just like some circle jerk of Satoru. It's more in a way to make him seem cooler without it always just being, this is the best character ever, it's amazing. It's like, no, now we're seeing it for, stuff like, other people's perspectives, how their level of presence was affected by Satoru's, which, again, I think is really cool when you have something like that. But the chapter has a really weird start. Like, you get this guy, and the first one is just December 7th, 1989, and Satoru's not that much older than me, but, well, I guess 5 years, but still. You have Satoru, just being born. It shows up like him, Satoru Gojo bursts onto the scene, and like this opening portion, there's some guy, seemingly maybe some like rich criminal or something, but he's like, he's just like sitting around. His daughter shows up, and she's saying like happy birthday to him. It looks very weird. It looks very strange because it's like in his, there's he's in his room. She's like sitting in his lap. Maybe it's just a straight kind of like weird way that it's presented, and maybe it would be innocent if he actually saw it, and it was just maybe some in their world, just some girl who is loving of her dad, not in an inappropriate way, just as a normal way. Goddamn, all this. Well, I didn't think about it too much until people brought it up. I'm just like, goddamn, it's kind of creepy. But anyway, as it is now, you have like the moment where she goes talk to her dad, and then bam, stabbed through the neck. He ends up dying, and it turns out that this was not actually his daughter. This was the old lady that we saw earlier, that we're seeing right now, the one that is against Ino, one of these three characters, the old lady and her grandson. And the guy's just like trying to figure out where his daughter is, and the old lady's like, I killed her, don't worry about it, she's dead. But, do as you do. And it just seems like a very not nice person. Why did I kill some young lady in that? We don't know even what this guy did to really say, like, was his killing worth, was it like one of those, he has a bad guy kind of killings? Was it some form of like, a hit on a guy who maybe knew too much? Who knows? And the other one being like the guy who's like cutting off people's faces. He's like skinning people. He's upset that he like ripped the flesh on one dude, and then he's going after this other guy. And he's saying how he needs to understand the human body. And I'm guessing that is going to have something to do with like his power, because as we've seen, his ability is that he's seemingly very durable. He seems almost indestructible. It's not fully that. We just haven't got the exact explanation yet. But they're saying that in this world where they could just do whatever they wanted, they were free. And the number of like Jujutsu sorcerers, they're like they had their hands full, increasing number of curses. So they're like, oh yeah, all the people that would stop us were too busy with all these curses, so we could just kind of like live selfishly and do whatever it is we wanted, even these horrible things, like murdering people and stuff. But then they heard about this guy, they're like, oh, it's Satoru Gojo, like what? He's just a kid, like what's so special about him? And they're like, oh, there's already over 100,000 on his head. I'm wondering if that's yen, or if that's like because it's an English translation. Or if they mean like it's straight on dollars. I don't know. I mean, even if it's yen, it's what, $10,000 for killing this kid. But like, oh, this would be easy. Let's go. Whoever gets it first gets the money. And both of them prepped up, both of them sitting ready, and then just the sight. Well, I say sight on Satoru is just bad for them. They kind of try and get a glance on him. They start sweating and shaking, and it's because he can see them, and he's like just glancing at them. And the idea of you can't really hide from him in a lot of ways with his power. And we saw that with Toji, is Satoru still knew he was behind him. But the fact that even as a child, you have this guy who was able to deter crime and murder and all this stuff, and they're saying how the curse's strength is increasing was because of Satoru Gojo. It's like it was a seemingly unbeatable. They're talking about like essentially, and then you have all of these when you have like someone break a record and people want to like overtake it and stuff. It's that kind of like catch-up game because Satoru Gojo being born changed the balance of the world. Like it heavily tipped in his favor. So all these other curses and guys are trying to catch up, which now they're like, we're not free anymore. We had our freedom taken from us by this guy. I mean, yeah, you guys were crazy. I don't think anybody's gonna have a problem with your psycho murderous selves, being put on a leash just by the presence of this guy that would whoop your ass. But now we get back to like the main stuff, which we don't really see anything from the old lady and Ino, but we see, which is, it hurts. We needed a panel just to find out what's going on with the whole Toji theft, which makes me sad because Toji was he was a complicated character, and it hurt me to think that he would be in any way disrespected like this later. I don't think he'll be distracted. Maybe he'll get like a really cool showing, even though it's not him. Maybe we'll get some hype by these characters talking about how powerful he was. That would make me a little happy. But that's Megumi and Yuji against this old guy who, no matter what attack they throw at him, he doesn't seem damaged. He seems to really just kind of like shake off everything that hits him with not even like wounds. It's not like, oh yeah, he just got crazy stamina. He's able to fight through some of these attacks. But one that is, Megumi's smart. Megumi is definitely like a very intelligent guy, and he's like, he's trying to figure out the guy's power. He's like, damage nullification? No, I got a plan. And he's like, hey, listen, Satoru Gojo is around here, so you guys better leave the curtain down, or leave and take your curtain down and just skedaddle. But the guy, when he's like saying like, oh, you guys are the ones that announced that Satoru was, sealed off. We don't have to bother with that. And because of that, he's like, okay, that makes sense. This means that he is only active because of the whole, Satoru being sealed thing. So it's not something as like OP as like damage nullification. It's something, but it can't be something impossible like that, because obviously Satoru is somebody that they know would beat them. So the question is figuring it out. And Megumi seems to have figured it out. You see, as we've seen, he's a very intelligent character. He uses his powers. He's using his shadow puppetry. He makes all these rabbits, and then he pulls back. Yuji, and he's like, all right, they're making a retreat. I'm guessing tactical retreat. They're gonna, he's gonna like discuss and explain to him his powers and what they're gonna do, which again is good. It's gonna be really nice to see like the teamwork between them, because we know that from the last chapter that their biggest obstacle right now with their fighting wasn't like the guy. It was that they don't have any teamwork abilities. They don't meld well between Yuji and Megumi. So I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm hoping that we get some sick combo. And I know you can't finish every fight with it, but it's been a while since we've seen it. But I want to see Megumi's area expansion, even if it's just for like a moment. Even if we just see it for a moment, or territorial expansion, whichever. I don't want to go with domain expansion because I'm tired. The official guide, can you please just pick one and stick with it? But if once we get to that point, I'd be really happy to see just it for a moment, even if it's like he does it really fast, makes like a distraction, or maybe just blinds him, and then Yuji gets in with some big attack. He black flashes him. It's just like a in and out, bam, kind of thing. I'd be happy with that. I just want to see it. It's such a badass looking one. It's definitely one of the cooler looking area expansions, territorial expansions that we've seen so far. Anyway, other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. Really liking that we've seen Satoru like at all stages. We saw him as a baby, we saw him as a toddler, we see him as a kid, we saw him as a teenager, we see him now as like this adult. Oh, actually, no, we saw him as like a young adult and then like a full adult. We've seen like every single point of him. But comment below. That's the video. From the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank y'all for listening. Bye.